Okay, hello everybody. I hope um, you enjoy this little first tutorial for the ArmSTALKER online. Um, since the server is not running, a lot of people ask how can we use the released mod on Steam or the downloaded mod. And yeah, it's a little bit tricky because a lot of things are not working in the standalone version now. Yes, there's not prepared for single player, so you can't manage it to use the mod now for you at home. But uh, if you're familiar with the Eden editor and know a little bit about scripting, mission design, something like that, it's not a problem to use this mod to make a little mission for your own, for single player, or also for the community or a few guys if you want to run a server or something like that. So what I want to explain is for rookies here who are not familiar with the Eden editor, never did mission designs before, stick in scripting and something like that. Like me, I'm a hardcore player since Operation Flashpoint and took it over Armor series up to Armor 3 now. And but when the project here was released and I recognized it, and I get a look on the work, or could got a look on the work here from the amazing team who did it, I want to look behind. So what I'm doing was a little bit reverse engineering. You have something and it's put together, and you try to bring it how it was designed. And so you took a screwdriver and a hammer or something like that, and that's the same what I did here. And I found a few things out without nerving the team, because it has a lot of ongoing work there, and they made it to 64-bit version, so the whole database, it's now updated on their server. That's not at all Exile or Epoch, they don't have it now, and so it's only ArmSTALKER Online is one of the now existing mods that have a 64-bit database system, and so, but it's still a lot of work to do. I know we hope that the Warzone server opens every day, but until now it's not announced when. And so yeah, anyways, so what can we do? We can use the Warzone map, explore it, and a lot of players want to know how can we spawn mutants. Okay, there's one thing, you can do it on hand, put it on the map, let it there, go to the mutant or move around or play as a mutant, and that's not a problem. But if you want to trigger them so that you move close by and then the mutant system spawns, that's what I want to explain now. So what we do first is we have Armor ready like that. You have load the Warzone 2.5 versions now as a mod, and you get this screen now. It's the English version, but you see here Russian. Some of the system is now named in Russian. I hope that's in 2 or 3 days so it's fixed, and you have also an English conversation of that, but it makes no problem, because when you hover over the buttons you see what they mean, like exit or quit the game, and create a mission on your own editor, and that's what we want to do. So we go single player and go in the editor, load the Alpha Zone now, and if it's on the screen, we would have a look first what map we have. So the Warzone, it's a completely designed map by the team, the brand new. If you get messages like that, failure messages or something from the debugger, ignore it. Anyways, it's a multiplayer version, and if you be a little bit familiar, you know how to move in the map. You see we have not a little map, it's it's for a Warzone, for PvP, PvE. It's a very good map. because it's not too huge, but there's a lot of I think industries and trees and wooden areas and caves and water train stations and something like that that you can fight. So we want to search a place for our mission goal now, and I use a little bit an industry area like this here, like this, and we want to set up in the middle of the screen a little mutant spawn. So what do we need for that? Is we need the mutant spawn module. We need the Leg dich wieder hin. Yeah, and we can do that in two ways. We can do that first by using the normal view in the map, or we can do that also by putting it to map view. And but what we want to do now, I show it first on this kind of map here because it's a little bit more interesting. You see what's on the map, and maybe it helps you to find a good place, a good trigger or a good area where you can trigger that mutant. So that's absolutely no problem. So what we do now is we are selecting parts of the game logic. So if you follow my mouse to the right side, we have here the modules for the game logic. And what we need is the group of others. So you have here the dynamic cries. If you want set cries of the mutants, also trigger them. But what we want to spawn now or trigger is the mutants. Here we have the mutants. So you have the name of it, and what we also need is the mutant spawn module. So I put that first on the map. Makes no sense where it is now. You can drop it here, there. Anyway, it's not a problem. We see how that works now. Then you take a mutant. Now we can take a bloodsucker, put it there. So we have yet now the mutant spawn module. We have the bloodsucker module, and what we need is a trigger. So follow me. It's F3, or you move that by mouse and go to the trigger and put a trigger. This trigger is prepared, for 100 meters square, or if you have an ellipse, 500 meters. I put a normal trigger on it, and I want to trigger here in the middle of the road, on the crossroad here. Okay, that's all we need first. So next we have to connect the mutant spawn module, connect it, sync with the trigger, and that we do also with the bloodsucker, synchron to the trigger. So we have now the spawn module and what we will spawn. You can also put that now away and get to another one here and say, okay, I'm not, I use controller here, something like that is not a problem. So you do that, connect it, synchron it, and absolutely no problem. You can also do copies here with copy and paste, and absolutely no problem. But now we need the bloodsucker. Put it here on the map. Did the synchron to the trigger. Okay. Now we move to the trigger. You see now trigger and none present. There's nothing who triggers now, and you do a double click on the trigger. And first, what we do, we say, okay. The ellipse shape it's the best. You can also do the rectangle, but do that with an ellipse, and you set it up. We need now 50 meters. So let's put it in. So you see A and B 50 meters. the high, it's not interesting now. What we now have is 50 meters to around the whole trigger. What we need is the activation. First, do that by any player. We see here present. It's present. You can that repeatable or make it on server only. This makes not a care here now. You can name it, but it's not necessary. So we have now a normal easy spawn module. The activation is by any player. So if we move by or another player moves by, it will be activated, and you have the activation type. It's present, so everybody can activate it on every time. So when we go to the mutant spawn module, you can, I think, do nothing now. So when we say here to the mutants that we spawn, you can set up the spawn area in percent. You can say random, so if it's triggered or if it's not triggered, and if you do that, you can give up to 100%, so you can play a little bit with these triggers, and so also count, and that's interesting. You can say we want trigger 2 of them. That's what we want to do now, because I'm happy armed when we collide with them. And you can say spawn it in buildings or not. And so yeah, timeout cleaning. So after that, 60 seconds and so on and so on. So, but that's what we want to do now. So we let the 60% there. Said okay, I want to spawn 2 of them. So that's all we need now. So it's ready. And when I go out, you see that's the area where the mutants are triggered. And if you want to see that on the map, you put it to the map key, and you see that's it. And if you want, you can move it around. So the trigger area is moved here on the map. So absolutely no problem to move it or to copy it. Here was edit. So you can copy it, and if you want it somewhere else, you put it here. You put it here, say paste, and then you have a trigger area. But you can also do that with the spawn modules, but you can also design it without spawn modules. Absolutely no problem. Okay, so if you want get the whole stuff, put a square on with your left mouse key, set copy, and put it somewhere else. Let's say here, and paste it. And you see you copied now the whole module, including what you want to spawn, the spawn module and the mutants. And so, but you can change it. You can set that movement away, and say let's select another one, you know, from the game logic here, and set you use that one, and put it to connect, sync with it, and now you have the trigger for the Jaguar. So absolutely no problem. It's active because we copied and pasted, and so this is my camera, you know that. Okay, what we need next is a player to see how we can activate on the if it's work. And so I used use a normal player. Let's think I use a guy from the clear sky fraction, maybe clear sky elite soldier, something like that. Put it here. Okay, let's edit the loadout. And I load a prepared loadout. So that's the guy. So he's well armed, and I think he can do that, handle that. And so, okay, what we do next, it's we say, okay, we want to play it from his position. So play as a character there, and so that's what we want to do. And the little mission starts now. We're thrown in the war zone. Meanwhile, the system is loading. Yeah, we get some messages, but it makes no problem. Takes a little bit to set up. So the map is set up and prepared with the little script we made. And after that, we have a look on the map and can go, if you activate that, to first person. Now have a look on the map. I'm moving here. There should be the trigger, so in that area, and I mean the trigger begins here maybe. So we would see what happened when we close up to the spawn area. So you see sensor activated. It was on the left down, so now we have to see where they are. Searching for them. Hey, come on guys, where you are. Typical, done it before 10 times and it works, and now, where are my mutants? Holy shit. So let's have a look, Hey, where you are? I don't know what's wrong. Okay, if happens like that, you check it again, so we're on the right point on the map, that's okay. But nothing happens. Okay, let me step back. That's typical. What mistake I did. Let's have a look. Where's the spawn module? It's here. With that bloodsucker. Trigger. Any player. Prison. 50 meters. Okay. We have the bloodsuckers count. Random, no. Spawn in buildings, never. Tunnel cleaning. Always. That was my failure. So, yeah, there was one click too much. Now, okay, yeah, we can play that again. So, player setup. It was not my time. That was my failure. Typical. But it was good to make a mistake. So you see that if it not works, you go only one step back and check what happens on the map. Or maybe what is there something set up wrong? Is there no synchronization or something like that? And my failure was that I set the wrong daytime. Okay, now mutants are triggered. So this bloodsucker very hard. I'm shooting with ammunition 7.62, and here we are. Oh yes, fucking hell. Yeah, I'm dead. Okay, holy shit. Okay, well done. Maybe you test that with one of the mutants, and don't do it with two. The bloodsuckers are very good, and you see they kill you in just a few seconds if you're not prepared for that. And yet, maybe you are under a mask and you have first-person view, so a very small angle of view that kills you instantly. Okay, we can do a restarting that. So you say my failure was I set the wrong daytime. So the time was set from sundown to sun up, and we are on normal daytime. I mean, maybe 12 o'clock or something like that now, and then the trigger didn't work. So you see, you can set the time in that maybe at night if you want to scare people or something like that, and you can also use it always. So you want that by day and night time. So let's have a look. Let them spawn. Yeah. You hear them. Count 2. Right. There are 2 of them. Yeah, and here we are. And you know how hard would that be in the zone, really, without a friend or without a team moving in there. It's very, very hard, very, very tricky. You have different kinds of mutants. They can kill you, you see, in 1 or 2 seconds if you are not prepared for the attack, and so that's what could happen. I hope that helps you a little bit, and maybe we see you next time with some more tutorials about the ArmSTALKER online. Now Night Stalker was killed. Maybe it depends on I was private. Set me to Colonel or something like that. Maybe I survived that shit. And so you see, heavily armed is not everything. You have to scan the area. You have to be on good ground for a defense. And yet, remember, that is night. You have a mask on your head, and you are in first person, and you have only a flashlight, nothing else. And so let's have a look how that works.